We received a really nice care package from our friends at Hydrovane. I thought this would be a good time to sit down, show you not only what they sent us, but also to talk about the history of wind vanes, how important they are for ocean sailing, and more specifically, how incredible the Hydrovane itself is. It is easily the most important bit of gear on Tritea. So let's get into what they sent us, and then I'll talk about the magic that is Windvane self-steering systems. Okay, in the box, they sent us, most importantly, a new Vane cover. Much needed. We've been using the one that I made in New Zealand for a while, and now we finally have a proper red Vane cover. They sent us a tiller extension, which is really cool. I can't use this because I have my Hydrovane's too close to my backstay, but if you had a split backstay, this thing is a dream. Really, really nice. They sent us the offshore spare kit. It has all the pins and an extra bolt, some Loctite, the knob, all that stuff. So this is a lot of peace of mind to have this on board. And they also sent a new control line. Ours is pretty worn from the sun. Our bungee stretched out and all that stuff, so it's pretty slack. It's not as easy to use as it was originally. So this is going to be a fantastic replacement. And they sent us 2 Hydrovane hats, which we're stoked about. Really nice. Little caps. Can't have enough caps on board. Very grateful to Hydrovane for sending us this care package and the much needed spares and vane cover. It's going to be nice to, again, see that traditional red vane of the Hydrovane driving us through the seas and handling all the steering. Self-steering wind vanes came into existence not on a salty ship crossing big oceans, but on model yachts sailing on ponds. First invented in 1875 for racing and free-sailing model yachts before radio remote control was invented. Ocean sailors realized that this concept could be enlarged and fitted to a proper yacht. Some transatlantic single-handed sailors used a crude form of self-steering devices to cross the Atlantic Ocean in the 1920s and 30s. But it wasn't until 1955 that the wind vane steering gears we know and love today began to appear on yachts. Herbert Hassler is credited with inventing the servo pendulum self-steering vane for his yacht Jester, which he used on the first observer single-handed transatlantic race from Plymouth, England to New York in 1960. From that point on, most small boats with solo captains or short-handed crews use some form of wind vane self-steering for long-distance ocean sailing. While the most common are servo pendulum designs that use the ship's rudder to steer the boat, Hydrovanes are by far the most trusted and reliable with their own balanced rudder, that they not only handle the task of self-steering, but also give you a redundant rudder should something happen to your ship's main rudder. Since installing my Hydrovane in Hawaii, it has handled all of the steering on ocean passages for the last 13,000 miles. Tritea's Hydrovane also came to my rescue when my tiller head broke near shore in 30 to 40 knots of wind in New Zealand's Marlborough Sound. This ain't good! If I had had a servo pendulum wind vane when this happened, I could have easily lost Tritea on the rocks in the building winds. Oh yes, one last thing. In the 2022 edition of the Golden Globe race, 12 out of the 16 sailors chose Hydrovane to steer them around the world. What more can I say? So let's get into installing this new vane cover. It's a little blustery outside, so it might be a challenge, but I'll show you how you go about putting these on the frame and getting it all dialed in. Okay, as I mentioned, it's extremely breezy here at Lizard Island today. We're going to try to do this without losing it. Luckily, there's 2 of us, that'll make it a lot easier. The things we need for this install is some dry lubricant or silicone spray. They said in the installation manual you can also just soak the cover in water and do it that way. We have our cover, and we have some scissors to cut off the old one. Like I said, this is like an old one that I made as a temporary one when I was in New Zealand. The previous one I had worn out from UV, which happens. I don't have room to store it down below, so we store it on the rail. We need to make a sunbrella bag that protects it, and the sun just like, even this one, it's not even, it's like a year old, but you can almost put your finger through it because the sun just
I
destroyed
did
it.
put my thumb through it. So yeah, it's very, very brittle.
Very brittle.
It's got a few patches on it now.
Yeah, little patches. So let's go ahead and get this one off and see about getting the new one installed.
So I had never had any experience previous to this of Hydrovanes or any kind of like auto steering systems. So coming aboard and getting to learn this is a whole new thing for me, and it's so trippy. I just think they're like magic. The way that they work with the wind is just incredible, and to be honest, the first time we ever used it, well, I used it on board here, kind of freaked me out. But now I've gotten super comfortable with it and adjusting it and things like that as well. So yeah, that's
pretty
really
easy
neat.
once you get your head around it.
Once you get your head around it, yeah, for sure, it's easy.
And you've learned the difference between having like good wind and not enough wind.
100%. It's so crazy. Like when there's like following seas and stuff, and the wind isn't overly strong, and you just kind of end up going on these big zigzags around, you're just swaying back and forth. But then when there's like, you can notice it when there's like enough wind, like right now for instance would be perfect.
Perfect. They love strong wind.
Yeah, you're just held in the water so much, you know, you're held in a line. It's incredible. It's so cool. Like, yeah, such a neat invention.
Hey,
so simple.
Easily, like I said, the most important piece of kit on the boat for sure.
So neat. One has definitely seen better days, hasn't it?
For sure. Okay, so here's our Vane frame. We're going to go ahead and get it all cleaned up and ready to go, and then we'll get to the install.
Ta-da!
And we're back. It's clean and ready to go. So, it says in the manual that you're going to think it's too small. It's meant to be like a drum tight fit. I put the last one on, so I remember it being very, very snug. So we're gonna go ahead and spray this with our silicone spray. We're using the Cell Coat spray. It dries very quick, so we're gonna spray some inside first, and then spray the frame and start working it on. It's gonna be a lot easier with two people. Last time I did this, by myself, and it was very difficult.
Does it need to go on a specific? Oh yeah, I see. So it's gonna lace up around this part here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hold that up for me. Okay. That for me. Yeah, we want to make sure it all goes on the right way.
Yeah,
so
it's
this is the leading edge. Yeah. Okay, watch your eyeballs.
Yeah, I do.
All right, let's do it.
Alrighty.
Ah, it's okay.
Oh, this is all good.
So easy. No problem. Makes a big difference when you...
Oh, here we go. Hang on a sec.
Yeah.
It's this top edge here. Get that all snug as a bud.
Boy, it's a lot easier with the silicone spray, that's for sure. We'll get our seams lined up.
Beautiful. And this is the torque, like the stretch thing?
Yeah, that's, and then we'll snug it on. Okay, we got the manual out on the computer, so I just want to make sure we lace it up the way they suggest we lace it up. Okay, now that I've got my 2 wraps and 3 half hitches on, we'll go ahead and start the lacing. Go through the first 2 holes. And then we're going to go around once. And then up through the next set. Yeah. And then we're just going to repeat that. Around the frame once. And then up through. Gives it a little bit of a mechanical advantage too while trying to keep the tension on it. Alright, now that we got all those, we're going to go ahead and try to work the vane down. This material is stretchy, so we want to get it as tight as possible. And this is the point wherein you want to do that. So. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? What are you talking about?
They've come to check out the new Hydrovane.
The peanut gallery. They don't like how we did it. Alright. The new cover is installed. So tomorrow when we set sail, we'll be using this, and we'll show you guys what that's all about. If you enjoy the content on this channel and would like to contribute, you can consider joining the Patreon crew. Thanks for watching. Fair winds until next time.